We are here today to visit and spend some time with an industry sales leader, Rick Davis, and just take it all in, right? We're gonna walk through his beautiful home. We're gonna go out onto his beautiful deck that he actually redid with Keylink, and we're so excited to just experience the day with him. Yeah.
Oh man.
My name is Alicia Zucco.
I'm Andrew Smucker.
So, let's go check it out.
Let's do it.
Hey!
Hey, cool cats. Come on up. I'm glad you're here. Hug me.
Oh, so good to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
All right. I'm glad
Hello,
you're here.
stranger.
Come on in. Yeah. Let's go inside. Check it out.
Oh my gosh,
Thank
this is
you.
gorgeous, Rick. This is beautiful. Look at that view.
This is just beautiful. Wow.
Come on.
Love it.
Check out the deck.
Thank you so much.
Come on.
Even better out here.
You can't beat it.
Thank you.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for having us today, Rick. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Your deck looks phenomenal.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
The view is amazing. The house is gorgeous.
Thank you.
So we just wanted to talk through with you a little bit, talk about your
Yeah.
journey and what led you to make the choices that you made here for your deck, and just such a beautiful space here.
Awesome.
We absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I've always wanted a home on Lake Michigan. It was the dream,
Yep.
and we saw this place, my wife and I, and right away we knew it was for us. When we moved in, of all things, speaking of the deck, this was just a basic wood,
Yep.
junky. Yeah, the previous owners was not very well cared for. And right away we could see that make this deck and then build this whole
Yeah.
sort of thing, and it was part of the vision right from the get-go.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Love that.
Yeah.
So how did you make some of your choices as far as what kind of led to that and the design of your deck?
You know, we wanted it to be an extension of the house, right? We wanted it to be rooms.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're basically sitting in the coffee and the cocktail room.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know, you get up in the morning, you walk out here, you have your coffee, and you relax and enjoy yourself. That's why you're seeing the different levels.
Yep.
Because at the lower level, and it's funny, you can't predict these things,
Yeah.
but it really turned into what we wanted it to be. Like at your house, do you notice that when people come over, there's just a certain place they gravitate towards?
Oh yeah.
Where do they gravitate to in your home?
In the foyer, right when you walk in.
Really?
The windows, yeah.
People hang out there.
Yes, absolutely. We
Yeah.
have those big, beautiful windows, just kind of like how you
Yeah.
guys have when you walk through.
Thank you.
It kind of just ties it all together, especially coming out to your deck and just being able to see the view and the
Yeah.
Lake Michigan behind it.
Wonderful. So we didn't know. We didn't
Yeah.
know where people would gravitate towards. So people come out here always in the morning, whether we're up with them or not, guests, whatever. But then later on in the afternoon, people are starting to mellow out a little bit. It's time to
Right.
read your summer book. They all go down to the next level where they sit in those Adirondack chairs and they chill. Or sometimes you end up down there with a couple of glasses of wine just talking to
Yeah.
somebody. And then, of course, right behind we've got the dining area. So it really, really worked out nicely. And that was the vision
Yep.
from the get-go.
That's beautiful.
Did you know that you wanted to have a lighting ambiance on your deck when you were planning for it?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I have that. We have that in our Chicago home,
Okay.
and I knew I wanted it. I just wanted it to be better,
Love that.
and it is.
Yep.
Love that.
Yeah.
As you saw when you came in, everything's tied together now
Yes.
with the timer. And that was one of the cool things, what we were able to do with Keylinks, with our deck stuff, all the low voltage stuff, our ground lighting in the front of our home, the down lighting from the trees.
Yeah.
Everything now is all tied together. One app. You can,
Beautiful.
right?
Beautiful.
You can control it
Yeah.
remotely. Very cool. So that was always
Yeah.
a big part of it. And not for lighting, but
Yeah.
ambiance.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really sets the mood.
Thank
Tone.
you.
The tone.
Yeah.
Thank
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
for sure.
Rick,
Thank
I
you.
love the journey walking through your home as you're kind of walking out. It's like it just keeps getting better and better as you're walking out through and seeing that journey, and then you come out, see the deck and how it just kind of sucks you in.
Thank you.
And then you take a look at the view and you're like, oh my, it's almost too much to take in. You're like, it's incredible. So just
Really
love how
is.
everything is set up here and how you did it. So,
Very intentional.
It was very intentional. I mean, everything turns out better than you hope, but I mean, that was the goal. We didn't know what people were going to say. Like when we walked in the house for the first time and saw it, we were like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" Because we're looking out at the lake, and you can't believe it. When you're driving up to the home, it's a mid-century modern architecture. You know, it's pretty discreet. There's small windows in the front. It doesn't look like much.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as you step inside, of course, all the windows and the view and everything, and everybody goes, "Oh my gosh!" And then when they get to see this deck, they go, "Oh my gosh!" again. So I mean, we weren't trying to wow anybody.
Right.
We don't want a magazine picture where people feel uncomfortable.
Right.
We want people to come in and say, "Oh, I can sit down and spill my coffee or my wine, and it's everything's okay."
Yeah. I love that.
We hope we've accomplished that. So
absolutely. I mean, I felt it was almost like a 4 or 5 course meal as you're walking through, and you're walking through, and you're like, oh yeah, this is the front. To your point, you're seeing, and it's not like huge or overwhelming or anything like that. But as you're walking in, it just keeps getting better, and and your hospitality and everything is really great as well.
Thank
so we
you.
really appreciate it.
It's exactly what we wanted.
Yeah.
And I love, Rick, that you said that this is an extension of your home. That's what we're hearing more and more in outdoor living spaces is people want to host. They want people that are hosts, they want to be able to have the full experience for their guests to, spend time a little bit indoors and then also be able to navigate outside where, you can have bonfires or barbecue or whatever that looks like. You're able to do it and you have the space to absolutely do it, and it's just beautiful.
Thank you so much. We think we accomplished that. and I think everybody should take that in consideration. Do what you want the first time as much as you can, because you don't want to have to go change it later on. As you know, we got the bonfire pit out by the water there, and our chairs out there as well. So I guess we've got one more room out there, another outdoor space by the lake, right?
And tying in the red with the doors and the windows and the furniture.
Beautiful. Yeah,
we really wanted to be earthy. Obviously love the red accents on the windows. We just wanted to be really earthy and kind of make that the key accent color, but still keep it kind of muted,
Yeah, pictures don't do it justice at all.
Absolutely.
When you see it in person, the red really highlights it.
Thank you.
So,
awesome.
Rick, between you and your wife and the design process, maybe share a little bit kind of how that went and what you've seen with regards to picking the infill for your railing and some of that kind of back and forth, husband and wife, how all that went for you and how that worked out and how you kind of worked off each other's strengths with that.
Yeah,
I think that's very interesting.
It's funny. By the way, I got to be careful what I'm about to say. We watched a documentary about this husband and wife design team a few years ago.
Okay.
His name is Massimo Vignelli.
Okay.
And I don't remember her name, but they design like the New York subway maps, and they've designed fonts and American Airlines, and they're like really world-class designers. And it's funny because in the documentary, there's always this kind of give and take, and there's some cooperation, there's a little bickering, then there's a little separation, then they come together. And that's really what this was. But all the while, I was using 1/4-inch scale paper, literally drawing to 1/4-inch scale exactly where we wanted everything to be. You saw my drawings when I had the color-coded railings on there when I sent that to you guys. And by the time we were done, she and I had kind of created this whole look with the rooms and the levels. We reached a point where the composite decking could not carry the span of 24, I think it's 25 feet here, all the way across. So we started coming up with some ideas, and my wife, Meg, came up with the most brilliant idea where she put this railing down the middle and then said, and it kind of opens up to the lake. And as soon as she said that, I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
So between the two of us, we thought we engineered a pretty good design flow, so to speak. And then, of course, after that, then it becomes a matter of getting the contractor to do it the way you want to do it, and we had the right guy, and then selecting the right products.
Well, I think you guys did a wonderful job picking everything out and designing it yourselves.
Thank you.
It's quite the project to do, but you guys nailed it.
It's close to 1,000 square feet.
Wow.
Our floor plan on our house, this is worth noting, our floor plan on the first floor of our home is, I think, 1,600 square feet.
Okay.
And our deck is almost 1,000. And I'm not kidding. When I did this, I thought, uh-oh, as it's finally being built and all that, did we make this too large? And then I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't
So now
either.
it's just it's part of the house.
Yeah.
Love that.
You know what I love? I'm amazed how many times people come here and they say, "So this wasn't part of the house when you bought it." I'm like, no, because
Okay.
it
It,
feels
everything just fits.
it feels like it was,
Yeah.
and that was our goal.
I would agree.
You know,
Yeah.
you notice throughout the house, there's sharp angles, there's lots of corners,
Yeah.
lots of geometry. That's what we try to do here.
Yeah.
It's a perfect fit.
Thank you.
Oh, Rick.
Love it.
I've never sat at this table without food because it's the dining room.
Oh, yeah.
So at
I
some
like
point
it.
we might have to have a donut. How's that sound?
yeah.
All
I
right.
love
Sounds
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Sure.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
like it.
That's my platform. When I get into politics, donuts.
There, you can't go wrong.
What the American people want is donuts.
Donuts with Davis.
Who's against donuts?
Exactly.
And if you are, I don't want your vote.
just go ahead and head out.
You're crazy.
Oh, well,
Like being
thank
against
you.
pizza. Crazy.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you had a pre-existing deck,
We did.
right?
Yes.
And you wanted to update it and make it your own,
Yes.
customize it.
Yeah.
At that point, what did that look like? How did you decide what product you were looking for? What type of, we talked about the design, we talked about a little bit about the aesthetic.
Yeah.
How did you then navigate to product?
Well, first of all, I didn't really say this, but we had to do something with the deck because
Yeah.
the previous owners, for whatever reason, decided to cut the newel posts off, the posts that held the railing on the deck when it was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so crazy, right? We actually had a friend over one night who, almost fell off of it twice.
Oh my
Oh, my
gosh.
goodness.
And I'm like, this is
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, no.
So obviously the railing system really matters. So when we went shopping, it was really about colors, textures, and when it came to the railing, it was pretty easy decision for me. I'll tell you something interesting. I felt like the railing was just sort of an by the way. It was an afterthought for the salesperson
I
at
see.
the distributor.
Yeah.
And I think even for a lot of the, let's call it an outdoor living space contractor,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a deck builder,
Yeah.
call it what you want. But I think for them, it becomes
Yeah.
an afterthought. Well, I'm going to buy this composite, therefore, this
Yeah.
is the railing system that goes
That's what
along
comes
with it.
Yep.
And that wasn't going to do architecturally for us, and
Right.
Yeah.
it just wasn't going to be what we wanted.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So aesthetics and function, they're all important, but so is safety and code
Yeah.
and making sure your space is going
Yeah.
to be safe for people that you're hosting on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So even your selection, like as you're going through that journey, what made you gravitate towards Keylink as a product, or is that kind of different product as the kind of cookie cutter? Hey, this is your package with, we're going to match the deck brand with the railing brand, et cetera.
Yeah.
Kind of what made you sort of move the direction of Keylink and the selection that you made there?
I am privileged because I'm 4 decades in the industry. And so a couple things I can tell you helped me in my decision making. Number one, I got to go to a couple of trade shows.
Yeah.
And I just walked the shows to see what was out there. I saw some really cool stainless stuff. I saw some other people doing
Yeah.
similar to Keylink, but I didn't think quite as high a caliber. I looked at the railing systems that came along
Yeah.
with it, and I really gravitated towards Keylink for a couple of reasons.
Yep.
I love the aesthetic,
Yeah.
and with 40 years in the business, 15 of which I was in the window industry and
Yeah.
like commercial level,
Yep.
like selling paint finishes and high solids
Right.
polyesters and Kynar base, polyvinylidene fluoride resins and all these other things.
Right.
Powder coat
Yeah.
is where it's at.
Yeah.
And I love the powder coating. It's not just the look, it's not just the durability, although that's the first things you think about. There's a feel to it. There's a
Yeah.
texture to it that I really liked. And as soon as I put my hand on it, I'm like, yeah, this is
You
it.
know it, yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
That was real.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. What you guys have done is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So as you were walking through that, like what made you kind of move towards horizontal lines as opposed to a traditional vertical infill baluster or vertical cable? Kind of what attracted you and your wife to that part of the mix of the product and your selection?
I love that question because when you see it, and even when you see the vertical, it's cool.
Yeah.
I like,
Yeah.
first of all, I love the fact that the steel cables really match the aesthetic of our home.
Yeah.
Mid-century modern.
Yep.
It complements the architecture. What I really love is the horizontal cable
Yeah.
for a couple of reasons. Number one, the vertical cable to me, not that's wrong.
Right. Yep.
It looks like a skinny baluster, and it's not very obtrusive, which is why you would go in that
Yeah.
direction.
Right.
But I love the horizontal because it keeps the whole lines of the
Yeah.
the horizon line, horizontal
Yes.
horizon
Yeah.
line out
That's a
to
great
the
point.
lake. It's
Yeah.
much less obtrusive, and
Yeah.
if you do look at it, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's just really a great system, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect for this application, which, you know, it's not
Matches.
always the right one for everybody, but in our case, it was the perfect application.
Right.
Wow, that was awesome, Rick. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I see we have some donuts here.
Ooh.
Should we cheers?
Cheers.
Let's do a donut toast.
I
Right
love
on.
it.
First one ever.
All right. Cheers, donut toast.
Woo,
Love
donuts
it.
with
Yeah.
Davis.
Oh man, you gotta love
Fabulous.
So
Can't go
good.
wrong.
Yeah,
Oh
we'll
my
do it.
gosh. So good.
Let's migrate. Let's migrate to the meditative space of the deck.
Love it.
Yeah.
So Rick, on behalf of our customers, distributors, dealers, contractors, what is important for them to know that consumers, what they really want?
That's a good question. And it's different for every consumer. But the one thing I can say for sure is this. They're not installing a deck.
Yeah.
They're not just putting in a bunch of pieces to extend their home.
Right.
They're extending their home.
Yeah.
They're building a dream. And I think what they should realize is that when they're engaging in those conversations, they need to tap into that. You know, one of my favorite questions I teach in my classes for people selling directly to the consumer is to ask them this really great question, which is, what changed in your life that caused us to have this conversation today? Because something's generally changing. They came into some money, they bought a new home,
Right.
the old deck's rotting, whatever it might be. There's a reason, and you need to tap into that. And then they need to say, what are you trying to accomplish? What's your dream goal
Right.
for this project? And once they understand that, I think now they're tapping into the mindset of the buyer.
I love that, Rick. So it's not just checking the box and moving on to the next customer. You're really developing that relationship. You're tapping into the feeling, the emotional side
Yes.
of the experience itself.
They're not just a list of materials.
Love
You can't
that.
say, oh, you're a list of materials for me to install.
Exactly.
You're a human that's trying to accomplish a dream.
Love that.
Love it.
So Rick, why don't you tell us a little bit about your sales, the experience in the sales process with the dealer you were working with your contractor, how all that went through that process, just the journey, because at that point you were a consumer building your dream at that point.
Sure.
You and your wife with this gorgeous view here.
Sure.
So just the journey you were on with that experience on the sales side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I feel like when I first went to a dealer, it was a
Yeah.
lumber yard, and I walked in and I just wanted to see some of the materials. In fact, I was there for some materials for my windows, and I thought, while I'm here, let's start the journey. So I asked for some information, and a young man who specializes in decks for the lumber dealer
Yeah.
said, well, let me show you. And he clearly went to the manufacturer's training class where they taught him to sell good, better, best.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he told me about the wood. I said, no, I don't want any wood decking. That's it, I'm done with that. So of course, then he introduced me to the composites. And like every brand, this brand has a good, better, best program.
Right.
And as he went through that, he literally said when he got to the better product, he goes, now, if you want to spend more, I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
You can have the best. But I think the good is close enough, blah, blah. I said, yeah, I appreciate that, but tell me more about that best stuff. And he goes, well, but the other stuff. I said, yeah, but I want the best.
Yeah.
And, right?
Absolutely.
He's talking me out of the sale. What's the lesson to be learned? Number one, don't spend other people's money for them.
That's
Right?
so good. Yeah.
Just be, it's a very sobering moment, which
Oh, yeah.
I've been through. We've all been
Yeah.
through at
Yeah.
some point in our
Yeah.
career where you're selling a package of materials
Right.
that cost
Yeah.
more than your home. I literally sold a window package that cost more than my
Yeah.
home when I
Right.
was a young man. So their money's not your money.
Right.
Let them
Yeah.
spend it, number one. The other thing is to recognize that the proper technique is what I like to call best, better, good.
Yep.
Think about
Yeah.
that for a moment.
Yeah.
People buy the luxury car
Yeah.
brand because they want to be part of that luxury brand.
Right.
So they might have to buy the entry level car just so they can be part of that luxury brand, but it helps them fulfill their dream
Yeah.
of the luxury brand. Are you with me?
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
it.
Now, if they really got money, they buy the, $100,000
Yeah.
thing, right? But the salesperson that tries to sell that person in the $100,000 category, that entry level is going to miss out on a lot. So when we got to the counter, I shared with this young man an idea. I said, "You want a tip?" He said, "Sure." And it turns out I had worked with this company in my past, and the guy behind the counter said, I know who you are. Let's hear your idea." And I said, "Sell best, better, good." And so he did.
Yeah.
And of course, I got the top of the line stuff. This is the best part of the story. And your customers need to hear this.
Yeah.
I'm hosting a seminar. It's maybe 2 or 3 months later. And the young man, I'll call him Adam. That's not his real name. Let's say Adam is there and he's in the room and I pretend like I don't see him.
Okay.
And when I get to this point in my lecture, I'm talking about best, better, good.
Yeah.
I said, I got a story. A hypothetical story about when I maybe bought a deck for my home, and which I did. And I'll call the salesperson Adam. So I looked at Adam and he went like this.
Oh boy. Please
Like,
don't.
don't call me. Don't call me.
And you went there.
Oh yeah.
You're going there.
Looked right at him.
I did. Hey, we'll call him that. We'll call his company Acme Lumber, all that stuff.
Oh boy.
But here's the punchline.
Yeah.
After I told the story, he raises his hand. He said, "Can I say something?" I said, "Go for it."
Yeah.
He said, "Ever since you taught me that, I've never sold the lowest level stuff again."
That's phenomenal.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that a great
What an
story?
impact.
What an impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Rick, how do you see KeyLink playing into that sales journey?
As a vital sales asset for every dealer and contractor in the business, I believe KeyLink is the best there is in the business. I mean, that's why I bought it. I could be wrong. I don't know every product, but I want to think that I got what I think is the greatest, right? Whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. What I do know is that even if the contractor or the dealer, and you might not love hearing this, but I hope you do, even if KeyLink doesn't end up being the product of choice because people decide to step down to the good or, the better,
Yeah.
at least it becomes part of the sales process. So I would advise any of your contractors, especially, and dealers, to say, look, this is part of the package offering. They can come down if they want to, but give them the best. And even if you end up not selling the KeyLink, if you're a contractor or a dealer, you still engender a much better experience. You create a much better experience for your customers. You give them the power of choice, the freedom to build their own dream. And I think that KeyLink becomes a really big part of that sales journey. Even if it ends up not being the product they sell, I think it should be a product they use in their tool belt with every one of their clients.
That's so good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you guys.
Yeah.
I love my deck and I love what you guys built.
Well,
We
thank
love
you
you,
for
Rick.
having
Thank you for
us.
having us. We
Right
really
on.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
this
Right
is
on.
beautiful to see in photos, but even better in person.
Thank you.
Even the dream of, you shared with us earlier about the dream of having this
Yeah.
and the view on the lake.
It is.
It's amazing.
It was my dream and the deck was part of it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Speaking of dreams, I'm dreaming of some good food right now. Donuts is not enough. Let's go get some real sustenance. What do you say we go get some lunch? Come on, let's get lunch.
Roll.